Hey guys, it's Tyler, and today we're back in the bee tutorial lab, place-ish, whatever this is. It's been a long time, I know, I'm sorry, don't hurt me. I've been on vacation, and then once I got home, I immediately had to get my wisdom teeth pulled out. And that's why my voice may sound a little funny, because I'm still recovering from that, but that wasn't fun, let me tell you. But I'm here now, and we have some bee stuff to do today. Last episode, I told you guys that we were going to work on breeding bees this episode, and that is exactly what we're going to do today. So I have a little thing set up outside. Don't worry about that for right now. We're going to talk about that in a little sec. But let's just go to our apiary, and you want to make sure that when you're breeding bees at the start, that you're using an apiary and not a bee house. Because bee houses actually cannot breed bees. They can only kind of run them and have them produce stuff and help speed up tree pollination. You want an apiary or an alveary, but you're probably not going to have an alveary at the start of your game. So you want an apiary to breed your bees. So let's just go in here real quick and we'll turn off NEI. There we go. And let's just look at our apiary. I showed you guys last episode how to really work this guy and get him set up. But what we want to do, we want to start, the simplest bee that you can breed is the common bee. And the common bee is gotten from 2 hive bees. So any bees that we broke from those hives, if you combine 2 of them together in an apiary, you're going to get a common bee. It's not a for sure chance, and you can actually see if we type in common, NEI is your friend when it comes to this. Here's our common drone, and if we see the recipe for him, you'll see that there's basically all of the hive bees have a 15% chance of turning into a common bee. So those are the only ways to make common. Pretty cool, but the 15% chance is actually a pretty good chance of you getting your common bee. So, how are we going to do this? Well, we're just going to combine the 2 bees into the apiary as so. They're going to breed up, and it should take the drone here in a sec, as so. So now we have a forest drone embedded into our meadows queen. And when they die, there is a chance of us having a common bee. So I'm going to let this guy die, and then we'll see what we got. Okay, so I used an Oblivion frame to kind of speed this up. Don't worry about that right now. I'll show you that in a future episode about frames. But it seems like that we got a little bit unlucky here. We don't have any forest in here. We got all meadows. Now, did we really get all meadows? It looks like they're meadows. But let's take our Beealyzer here and let's make sure that we don't have some forest or some common inside of these princesses and drones. So let's just analyze this guy. And oh, would you look at that? The active trait is meadows, but the inactive is forest. So this guy is a hybrid. He's a forest meadows hybrid. Now these drones, oh, well look at here. We have a meadows and a common here. So this is a good bee to keep because we can use him to have a better chance of getting the common trait. And then this guy is also a meadows common. So that's really, really good. Now, technically, I believe you can set up a Punnett square if you know biology or genetics well enough. You can set up a Punnett square to see the actual chances of you getting your common bee from this. And let me tell you, it's not going to be too good. And I'll try to pull up an image of a Punnett square here to explain this. But if we have our meadows forest breeding with a meadows common, the common's not going to really dominate that Punnett square. Meadows is going to dominate that. So let's just put these guys back in. We're going to do our princess because we have to. And then these guys are both the same. But however, you also see that we got slower and slowest for the worker. That's because other traits in the bees copied over as well. So if we look at the forest bee, we can see that they have the slowest worker trait. And meadows bees have, we just type in meadow here, they have the slowest worker trait as well. So I'm not sure how we ended up getting a slower worker, but that's bees for you. Stuff like that happens. So that's kind of the old-fashioned way of breeding bees and getting them kind of to have the traits that you want, because if you want a bee to be a faster worker, slowest is the worst, and then slower is the better. So we would technically want to breed this guy with our princess here. However, with certain mods such as Gendustry and the Binnies mods, getting those traits is a lot easier, and we're going to look into that more in the future. But for right now, let's just go with this guy is the better bee to have, and we're just going to breed them back up again. I'm going to throw in my Oblivion frame right there. Don't worry about that. That's just going to make the life of this bee shorten dramatically to the point where it will probably die in the next 10 seconds here. However, what I want to start looking at is whatever the hell this is. And you guys are probably wondering that, and that's okay. I just want to show you real simple how this works. Basically, imagine a plus sign in between these, and then imagine an equal sign right here. This is basically your starter bee trip, I guess we'll say. This is what you want to do first before you get into any other bee related things. Meadows plus forest equals common. Any hive bees equal common. Okay, cool. Once we have our common, we can combine the common and the forest, or the common and the meadows. Any hive bee goes right here. I should probably, you know what, this is what we're going to do. Let's grab some hives. Let's take out, I'm going to creative, frame, boom. Let's just, to show you guys a little bit better, we'll just do that. So, meadows, or, well, this is actually any hive bee. So any hive bee equals common. Common and any hive bee gives you a chance of creating the cultivated bee. And then cultivated and common this is where things kind of go haywire. Because cultivated and common can give you two different bees. And you want to get both of these in order to really take off on your bee stuff. So cultivated and common can give you noble, and cultivated and common can give you diligent. And if you get one or the other, but you don't get both, you're going to want to keep breeding your cultivated and commons to make sure that you get both. Because over here are the two different paths, the diligent and the noble path, to get the two most special bees that you can get starter off, which is the imperial and the industrious. And I will explain a little bit what those do in a sec. But let's say we get our noble first. We can then combine the noble and the cultivated to get the majestic bee, and then you can combine the noble and the majestic to get your imperial. And it should be noted the imperial is fairly difficult to get. If you look at him, it's an 8% chance when combining a noble and a majestic to get this imperial guy. But he's really shiny and he's really cool, and he produces something that you're going to need, and I'm going to show you that in a sec. So now we have our imperial. Well, we should probably go after our diligent now, shouldn't we? So if we combine a cultivated and a common, we can get our diligent. And then if we combine a diligent and a cultivated, you should see this is kind of familiar, you can get the unweary bee. And then from there, the diligent and the unweary gives you your industrious. And it should, once again be noted, your industrious bee is going to be fairly difficult to get with the 8% chance. But let me just show you real quick what the industrious and the imperial bees produce. So let's just show you this meadows, for example. They're going to produce honeycombs, and honeycombs give you honey drops and beeswax. Both very useful things. Your common bees are going to, honey drop 90% chance, just notice that. Common, we have a 35% chance of getting a honeycomb, when the meadows was a 30%, and then this will also be 90 as well. So, common just give you a better chance of producing a comb. That's fantastic, nothing too special. Cultivated, they're going to also give you honeycomb, but this is a 40% chance. This is actually getting kind of big here. And then if we go into our diligent, the diligent will give you the stringy comb. Oh, what do you do? Stringy comb gives you propolis, and propolis is a very important thing to get, and I'm going to explain a little bit more on propolis in the next episode, because it's kind of involved in automating bees, and propolis is a good thing to have, especially if you don't have applied energistics installed on your client/server, because propolis is going to be the only way to automate your bees if applied energistics is not on. So, noble bees, what do they produce? Well, they're going to produce the dripping comb. And the dripping comb gives you honeydew. And honeydew is cool because you can create glistering melons with it, as well as ambrosia. And ambrosia is really useful. You're going to need royal jelly, so you're going to need to wait until we get to our imperial bee. But the ambrosia is used as kind of a milk. It'll heal you. I think it gives a little bit of regen. It's a good thing to make and have, so honeydew can do that for you. And then you can also create blank templates, which we'll maybe talk about. I don't think we're going to, but that's okay. Now, the Imperial, I'm not going to worry about the Unweary or Majestic. The Imperial is going to produce for you Royal Jelly, which you're going to need to make Alvearies. That's why this is important. And then the Industrious is going to give you Pollen. And Pollen is also used to make Alvearies because the Alveary block needs these scented panelings, and those need Pollen and Royal Jelly. So you're going to need to get these two bees in order to get an Alveary. And it's always good to have the Industrious bee and Imperial bee anyway, because they are used in a lot of really interesting bees to make. I mean, you can make a Ferrous bee just from Industrious and Common, and that'll produce Ferrous for you. Is there anything better than having... Wow, never mind, he'll produce Iron. That's even better. Wow, okay, so there you go. He can produce Ferrous, Iron, cool. Let's go back to this guy. Oh, now what do we have going on here? What in the hell happened? Okay, so we combined a Meadows Forest and a Meadows Common, and we somehow ended up with a Cultivated. That's because the common trait in there ended up breeding with the Meadows or Forest in there, and we ended up getting a Cultivated out of that. And that's really, really cool, because now we could actually go straight into the Cultivated Common. That's the fun of bees. You never know really what you're going to get. So the Cultivated, he's a Cultivated Meadows. Common Meadows. So there's a chance we could combine these guys. We could just end up with Meadows again. And I don't think we really want that. But that's okay. So that's basically the simplest breeding of bees you can do. And then as you go, once you get those common, that's a pun. Once you get those core bees there, you can start working on getting ones that you actually want, such as the Phantasmal Drone, which is made from Spectral and Ender, which is made from a ton of stuff. And what does this guy do? He produces Mysterious Comb, which creates Pulsing Propolis, which can create Pulsating Mesh, which can create Ender Pearls. So, random stuff. Bees are cool. Next episode, we're going to look at automating all this so that we don't have to just sit here and re-put in our bees over and over and over and over. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful. Make sure you do this line first and then get into the other bees. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!